racing now. I wish I win from last. A spectacular TJ win. Giga kick down the outside, wins the Everest. Shinzo and Ryan Moore have drawn clear to win the Golden Slipper.
With Tim Gilbert and Julie Snook, this is Racing Dreams.
Good morning and welcome to Racing Dreams on this Saturday. It is lovely to have your company. I am flying solo today. Timmy is overseas. He's watching the Rugby World Cup. We're hoping he's having a wonderful time and look forward to welcoming him back next week. But in the meantime, we have a very big show coming up for you this morning. Let's take a look. Everest winning trainer Joe Pride joins me live as we relive the incredible moment. Think about it, conquered the world's richest race on turf. The raw emotion of a jockey on top of the world. We hear from Sam Clipperton moments after his Everest glory. And inside the gates of New Zealand's new look at Cambridge Studs, where the future pays homage to racing's past.
This racing update is brought to you by Bet365, the world's favourite online betting brand.
What are you really gambling with?
It is that time of the day. Daily Telegraph journalist Shane Ocass joins me from the newsroom. Good morning to you, Shane.
Good morning, Julie. How are we?
We are well. Shane, before we look at today's racing, and we've got a big day ahead, we just need to go back over what happened last week. Last time we saw you, we were all trackside there for the Everest. What an incredible atmosphere. What an incredible day of racing. What were your thoughts on what we saw in that Everest?
Well, funnily enough, for a race that we all thought was very open, it actually went to script. I mean, the best horse won, the second best horse ran second, and the outsiders ran second, last and last. So from that perspective, it's good to see that we had a clean race and that no trainer or owner or slot holder went away thinking what might have been. Look, I suppose I Wish I Win was a little bit unlucky not to have got a bit closer. He was a bit held up there on the fence going up the rise. But you think they'd run this race 10 times and you get the same result, because this winner is, well, that's what he is. He's a winner. He doesn't know how to lose. I think if I Wish I Win had have got close to him, there's every chance that he would have fought back. I was a little bit surprised that Overpass compacted like he did, and Alcohol Free was very disappointing. But look, the run of the race, I suppose, was in secret. She posted the fastest last 600, 400, 200 of the whole meeting. And very hard to see a horse coming from last win in Everest when they run 107 and change.
And I Wish I Win off to the paddock for a spell. We'll see him again in 2024. What an incredible story that has been. But just, do we have an update on Overpass and Marzu and what happened there?
Well, Marzu had a very checkered preparation going into this year's Everest. Remember, he was signed for 2 years after running so well last year, but I don't think he had the wet track that he really needed to make him competitive. He had that little setback before he missed the start, missed a run, obviously. And then if you look closely, he did get a check up the rise when he was starting to come into the race, but he probably wasn't going to finish in the first 5, but he should be excused because I think he definitely would have finished closer. And the problem with Overpass was, just watching the race, Julie, I didn't think he was going that fast. I mean, he's a high cruising speed sort of horse anyway, but the stats showed that he went 6 lengths faster than the same first piece of the Sydney Stakes and 1.5 lengths faster than the Kosciuszko. So evidently he was going pretty quickly, and look, he just couldn't sustain that run up the rise, and he went backwards pretty quick. But so did Alcohol Free. So when the two leaders in front both stop like that, it does tell you that they are going very quickly.
Well, just on the Cosy, what a training effort by Matty Dale with Front Page going back to back in that race.
Yeah, Matty Dale's one of the most unassuming and sort of modest trainers in the business. Statistically speaking, he's actually very highly regarded in the fact that he's got 19% winners to runners. It may not sound like a lot, but when you're a trainer and you haven't got Schnetzels and 9 Invincibles around the place and you're training 1 in every 5 horses wins, that's a pretty good record. Look, Matt paid a lot of tribute, as you would, to the previous trainer here. Done a great job with Front Page, but to win any race twice is a great achievement, particularly a Kosciuszko, when last year's was a good Kosciuszko, but this one was a great one. So, yeah, look, he's a pretty fair horse, Front Page, and he's obviously a very good trainer, Matt Dale.
Indeed. All right, let's take a look at today's racing in Sydney. We have the 5 Diamonds Prelude. What are your thoughts on this field?
Well, this is the second year that we've had the 5 Diamonds. Last year, the race was won by Ellsberg, who had won the Epsom, or dead heated in the Epsom just before, and then he went on to win the 5 Diamonds Prelude and win the 5 Diamonds, the grand final. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this year, whether, in fact, it was the Quinella, I should say, Julie, last year of the 5 Diamonds Prelude was the 5 Diamonds grand final. So the point being there, obviously those horses that run well today are going to be the horses that we're looking at for the big one. I think it's an open field. When you think back last year, Ellsberg was a $2.80 favourite, whereas this year it's probably $5, half the field. So anything could really win it. If you do take a line through the Epsom, I suggest that you'd be looking at Democracy Manifest, a horse that won his first race at Dubbo, but he's come so far, and he really is probably racing at a peak. He was extremely unlucky in the Doncaster. He just got a bit held up there late when he was making his run the last 100. So, look, I think he's probably the horse peaking at the right time, but big field, going to come down to luck and good riding.
Such a great story, Democracy Manifest, and we're going to actually chat with one of the owners coming up in the show, so stick around for that. It is such a great story. But we also have the Big Dance Wildcard today. Chris Lees, he's going with the favourite. Yeah,
Chris Lees won the inaugural Big Dance last year, Julie, with... I forget the horse's name now, but he was obviously a pretty good horse. This year he's going to have, he could have about 4 or 5 runners. I'd say a Rustic Dream was the name of that horse, probably. Chris
I knew you'd get there.
Chris Lees could have a few more runners this year. He's got the favourite today, Spangler. Spangler won the provincial championship final, one of Chris's 5 winners in that race, and he won it by 5.5 lengths that day. He was absolutely extraordinary. He's gone back to the trials since his first run here in the Cameron, which is a very strong edition this year of the Cameron, and he absolutely bolted. He was at Gosford. He won by 6.5. So, look, I'm pretty keen on Spangler today. He loves Randwick. It's a good fast track, and they'll put a good speed on for him. I think he'll come over the top.
All right, Shane, before we let you go, we're short on time, but a big day of racing in Melbourne. Of course, we've got the Caulfield Cup. Nash Rawiller, he's been in a career best form, and he's going to miss today's ride because of that suspension. Just quickly, what happened there?
Well, Nash got suspended at the midweeks there on Wednesday at Kensington. He chose to miss the Caulfield Cup, and he'll also miss the Cox Plates just so he can ride in the Golden Eagle, which is obviously worth $10 million. He was going to ride Montefiore today. He was going to get down to 53.5, which is no mean feat, but he's been replaced by Blake Shin, so the horse will lose nothing there. Blake Shin's a champion jockey just like Nash, so look, it'll be a great day. I should mention J-Mac also reduced his weight to get down to 54 to ride Francesco Guardi for Chris Waller, and J-Mac's had 4 starts, 3 wins and a second on this horse, so he obviously likes him.
Obviously, he hasn't ridden that weight for about 2.5 years, so you know that he's feeling pretty confident if he's willing to do the hard yards for that one. All right, Shane, always a pleasure. We will catch up with you again next week. Have a good day.
Thanks, Julie.
This racing update is brought to you by Bet365, the world's favourite online betting brand.
Imagine what you could be buying instead.
Look, we'll be touching on it throughout the morning. Of course, it was another fantastic Everest this year, both on and off the track. Before we get to our next guest, who I'm really looking forward to chatting to, let's take another look at the final straight.
I Wish I Win back on the inside, looking for room as they come around the corner now. And the leader is overpassed. Alcohol Free dropped off. Cylinder comes off the fence. Think About It strides up. Private Eye. Espiona trying to work into the clear. I Wish I Win's running behind them. He needs room as Think About It takes the lead narrowly. Think About It from Cylinder. Private Eye. I Wish I Win. Think About It in front from I Wish I Win. Think About It. Think About It won the Everest. Beat I
Look, to have one runner in an Everest is a feat in itself. To finish, to have 2 is quite remarkable. To finish first and third, I'm just wondering how Joe Pride's feeling when he listens back to that race. Good morning, Joe.
Yeah, good morning.
Joe, you've just looked so cool, calm and collected all week. Have you actually had a chance to process what's happened?
Yeah, look, I'm not sure if it was cool, calm and collected. It was a real sense of relief for a lot of hard work, and it's, I don't know, just pretty deep. Is it deep into my training career? I've been doing it for 20 odd years now, and when you get the job done, it's just it's a great sense of relief, but also just an accomplishment, and it's pretty easy to take. I get excited watching the race, but after the race, I'm pretty relaxed about it, and it was an amazing day and just a fantastic result. So.
Well, we know you were watching the race in your usual position, which is away from everyone, away from the mayhem with your family. But can you describe the feeling of once that race was over, knowing what you're walking out to through that tunnel? You know there's 50,000 people out there. You know there's cameras galore. You've got a couple of horses you want to check on. How are you feeling?
Yeah, it's a pretty special feeling, that, and it's a walk of about, I don't know, 100 metres, but it's pretty good knowing you've won. There's a bit of a walk of shame out the front there when you've gotten beaten, but to try and explain things. But when you've won, it is a pretty amazing feeling, and it was never more special than the other day. So it's been a week of sort of coming down a little bit, but saying that, we've got another race on, and it will be 3 weeks between runs for both horses, both Everest horses, to go to Rose Hill, and there's another big opportunity for them there financially, and another opportunity to win a big race.
Did I hear you're doing some renos at your house? Has your kitchen just got a whole lot fancier?
Not yet, it hasn't. It's a nightmare. It's an absolute battleground. Anyone who's thinking about getting renovations done, move out for a while. The timing's extremely poor through this Everest period, but a lot of barbecues and takeaway, and the actual kitchen's just a mess at the moment. So we'll be right. We'll survive. We'll come through the other side. Yeah,
look, I think you'll be all right. Look, I want to talk to you about Sammy Clipperton. Listening to him speak this week has been really interesting. He was so bullish about this horse heading into the Everest. He said he kept it to himself, but he's always been really, really confident. And I really enjoyed the insight into how he's think about its process. From the yard, you see him really worked up, he's on his toes, he's ready to go. He gets out to the gates and Sam just lets him really relax. His feet are out of the stirrups, he's letting think about it, apparently listen to the national anthem or Sweet Caroline or whatever's playing. But how much of a role has Sam played in the success of this horse?
Yeah, look, some horses' continuity with the jockey doesn't matter that much, but I think with this horse it certainly does, and it's just been Sam getting to know what is a pretty quirky horse, just getting to know his little habits and reacting the right way, which gives the horse in turn an opportunity just to switch off, conserve some energy, because that's so important. And we've got a pretty good pattern with him now, where we get Sam on, get the pony with him straight out onto the track. And then Sam just spends the next sort of 5-10 minutes, whatever it may be, just getting him to, as I say, just to switch off, relax. I love when I see my horses behind the gates just stand and stare at things, because they're taking it all in. When they're moving around constantly on the fidget, they're normally agitated, and that's obviously not good for an athlete. So, but Sam's an integral part of the team here, and I'm sure he won't be able to ride him for his whole career, but just suspension injuries will play a part there. But for the time being, he needs to be on this horse, and it's been a fantastic journey. However confident he seemed, I can tell you he was 5 times as confident but just keeping it quiet, because he was not hearing of the horse getting beaten, which is pretty amazing given he was about to face the biggest test of his life. Were you that confident? Not as confident as Sam, no. I had 2 in the race and my confidence was shared. I was very confident I had the right horses there to win the race. I was really confident Stradbroke Day. Saturday was different because I wasn't sure whether it was going to be one run too many at 1,200 metres for this horse. He really is bred to do something quite different to what we're doing with him at the moment. By that I mean we stretched out over more ground. So, and I just, part of me just never likes to get too confident in big races, because the fallout from that is tragic when you get beat. So, but I was really confident I had the 2 horses in great shape, and I had the 2 perfect horses there for the race. Just quickly, Private Eye, how has he pulled up after that? What's next for these 2 guys? Yeah, he's great. He's come through it really well. He's a very tough horse, much more seasoned than his stablemate here, and they live beside each other. He's only a few metres away there, and they're both great. So they go to Rose Hill on what will be Derby Day in Melbourne, and it's a 1,300 metre race. It was a race that Private Eye won last year. It's called the Giga Kick this year. It's just named after the previous year's Everest winner, so it'll be the Think About It next year. But they're both really good. Chance to turn the tables, I guess, for Private Eye. He didn't have much luck the other day. He sat deep without any cover. But there's something about this horse here that suggests that I'm not sure he can get beat at the moment, but if something's going to do it, it's when I say hopefully, I don't hope he gets beat, but the horse with the best chance to beat him at the moment is one of ours as well. So it's a position I'm very, very privileged to be in. Well, you've been working very, very hard for a very long time. Speaking of working hard, just quickly, has that son of yours had a chance to study at all for his HSC, or has he been completely distracted with this thing called the Everest? No, he's been good. He's done his English and his maths so far, and next week he's got 4 exams. But Kylie and I have been pretty careful to make sure that he doesn't spend too much time in and around the stables. But the timing, it was tragically bad, I know, to be on Everest week last week. But he's handled it really well, as he does with everything. He's got a great temperament, Brave, and he's handled the whole thing well. But maybe I should reserve my judgment on that until we see the marks, eh?
Look, if anyone has an excuse, it's Brave Pride this year. Look, Joe, congratulations to you and the team. We appreciate you taking the time to talk to us on these race mornings, particularly. You've got a big day ahead as well. So thank you so much. Congratulations. We're just so thrilled for you.
Thanks very much, Julie.
All right, stay with us. Coming up, Sam Clipperton on top of the world after riding Think About It to victory in the $20 million Everest. We'll have his post-race reactions after the break. Welcome back. You're watching Racing Dreams. Thanks for your company. After almost giving the game away, jockey Sam Clipperton is on top of the world after conquering Everest. Timmy caught up with him moments after Saturday's victory on Think About It.
Think About It in front from I Wish I Win. Think About It! Think About It won the Everest.
Welcome back to Racing Dreams. Well, this is what Racing Dreams is about. We have just had the Everest, and the man that won the apprenticeship 2 years in a row, 10 years ago, is now the champion of the Everest. You just climbed Everest, Sammy. How are you feeling?
I'm quite emotional. I don't know what to say. I'm just dream come true. Incredible horse, incredible trainer, incredible crowd, incredible atmosphere, and a day I'll never forget.
Did you visualise at any point Sam Clipperton Everest winner?
When he crossed the line in the premiere 2 weeks ago, I wasn't quietly confident. I was bullish, but I kept it all to myself. Couldn't walk away with egg on my face. I wasn't game enough to say it, but he's got too many gears, this horse, and he's special.
What about Ronnie Quinton, when you went to him and you learned under him?
Yeah, I was an apprentice here. 14-year-old, started here at Randwick with Ron. Know every blade of grass around this joint, and to win the biggest weight race in the world at Royal Randwick, it's truly special.
Who would you like to thank? I know you're a family man.
Oh, look, my wife Morgan, wouldn't say she's copped a pizzling this week, but been pretty grumpy. Our little daughter's been a bit crook, so it's been a bit of a challenging week. But my family, my dad and my uncle are here today, my wife's family, all my friends, my manager Mark Van Treat, and my coach James Winks. James Winks came and stayed with me the last couple of days, get me into the zone, and it's all paid off.
Is it as good as what you thought it would be?
Times 100. I can't describe the feeling.
Well, good to look at that trophy. He's got the trophy here, so the jockey, the trainer, got it wrapped up for a good reason. Sam Clipperton winning the Everest of 2023, and there it is if you don't mind me doing that. Thanks, Sam.
No worries, thank you.
I reckon he'll find a nice place for that at his place. Well, today is Spring Wildcard Day at Royal Randwick, featuring the $1 Million 5 Diamonds Prelude and Big Dance Wildcard. John O'Shea has runners in both and joins me now. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Jules. How are you?
I am well. How are you? It looks like it's going to be a cracking day out there. Sunshine, 25 degrees. The track looks good.
It's a beautiful day to be at the races, I can tell you. It's going to be fantastic racing, great weather and a big crowd.
Well, Coates Hill runs in today's 5 Diamonds Prelude. Let's talk about that first over 1,500 metres. What do you think of this field?
It's a strong field. Obviously, it's $1 million race, so there's some well-performed horses there, of which he is one. So today's about, such an even field. The horse that gets the best run in the race and without any impediment throughout the run is going to be the horse that will get the job done. How
did he pull up after that run at Rose Hill over 1,400?
Yeah, no, he's come through really well. He's a very healthy, happy horse. All his work's been super. He's not a horse we overly work, but when he does do his work at the moment, it's with plenty of enthusiasm, and it's been no different this week.
Lions Roar in the Big Dance Wildcard as well. The field, thoughts?
Well, it's a race that he's more than capable of winning. It's probably the easiest race he's contested for some time. And unfortunately, he's got a really poor draw, and he's going to need plenty of luck throughout. But if he gets a bit of luck, he loves the mile at Randwick. He's a Group 1 winner at a mile here, and his first up run was probably career best first up run. So we're very, very happy with the horse, but he's going to map ordinary, and he's going to have to overcome a bit of adversity in the run.
Look, I know this next horse, his chapter probably didn't finish the way you'd planned, but Lost and Running has been retired. What a journey he took you and his owners on.
Yeah, no, it wasn't plain sailing all throughout, but when it was good, it was fantastic, and he's always going to be a special horse in our stable, particularly for my wife, who was a part owner, and he was probably he was the best sprinter I'd trained, and probably deserved it of a Group 1 victory, but unfortunately never got to, perform at his best at Group 1 level. So, but when he won the Premier Stakes last year going into the Everest, it was indicative that he was capable of winning the Everest last year until he had a little setback the day before. But he's always a special horse. He's got a really bright future as a hack now, and he'll be eventing and 3-day eventing and whatever else. So he's got a beautiful nature, so I'm sure he'll be good as that as well.
It's just one of those great stories, and we talk about it a lot, but he was purchased for $40,000 at the Inglis Premier Yearling Sale in 2018. He netted, close to $4.3 million for connections over his career. He's just one of those horses. It's a great example of that everyone can be involved and share a part of, the likes of the Everest.
Well, he's truly reflective of why our sport is so great, and that, they don't know what they've cost, and you've only got to look at the horses that are running placings in the Everest this year. One cost $80,000, one cost $60,000 or $70,000. So the beauty of our sport is, it doesn't cost a lot to be involved, and you can get a really big return, and that's sort of what dangles a carrot every year at the sales. So the beauty of it is that all the rich guys don't have the best horses, and once you walk onto a racetrack, everyone's equal.
You touched on it a little bit earlier, a great day for racing, great atmosphere. I tell you what, hasn't this carnival grown? We're sort of halfway through it, but we saw nearly 50,000 out there last week. Did you think in your time that you'd see Randwick and Rosehill Gardens come alive like they have in the spring?
No, and it's true testament to Peter V'landys and Racing New South Wales. They've invigorated this carnival through a unique concept that has failed everywhere else, but the manner in which they've adapted the concept with the Everest has just invigorated predominantly young people. The crowd last Saturday was 80% under 30s, so which is just tremendous for the future of our sport, and there's a real energy about it, and it's just a really exciting day. It's a unique day. It's not like the Melbourne Cup or other race meetings that we've been to throughout the world like Ascot. It's got its own vibe, and it's got its own place in Australian racing history.
Well, John, we appreciate your time. You have a busy day. A lot of runners today, not just those two. Wishing you and the team all the best.
Thanks, Jules. Always a pleasure to talk to you on a Saturday.
Chat soon. Well, 46,500 it was that were there trackside for the Everest last weekend. What a day of racing it was. From the Everest to the King Charles to the Kosciuszko, it lived up to all our expectations. For the New South Wales government, it meant a huge financial injection. And Timmy caught up with a very happy racing minister, David Harris.
Well, Front Page is just saluted for a second year in a row in the Kosciuszko. It's a fantastic race. And with that, I'd like to welcome to Racing Dreams the Racing Minister for New South Wales, Mr. David Harris. David, how are you?
Thanks, Tim. It's really good to be here. What a crowd, what an occasion. And of course, the Kosciuszko, the biggest prize money for country trained horse. And it's great news for the people on the Southern Riverina down along the border. They led from start to finish. It was a great day.
Yeah, we were just behind them. They were jumping around. It was a fantastic win. And it just goes to show who can be involved in this wonderful sport. It's not a sport these days for necessarily blue bloods, wealthy people. Everyone can be involved and have that kind of celebration.
It's amazing. You can buy shares in racehorses now, and I've got family members who've had shares, and it just adds to that excitement. But it also means that people right across the state can be involved in the sport, and that's good for New South Wales, good for Australia, and great for the economy.
This has become an enormous day in just 6.5, 7 years. Everest Day, it pumps so much money into the economy for New South Wales.
Oh, absolutely incredible. Peter V'landys, what a vision. I think he told us yesterday that when he first put this forward, everyone told him would fail, and then you look here today, probably 45,000 people, worldwide television audience, $36 million worth of prize money, and of course the Everest on this afternoon. Absolutely incredible. It's brought lots of people into Sydney, which is great for our tourism, and we just hope it gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
You must be so happy that racing in this state is so strong. It's essentially a rural business as well. So many people that work in this great industry live in the country.
Yeah, and that's why I'm so passionate about it. Coming from Wyong, we have over 300 people involved in the industry, hundreds and hundreds of jobs, and that provincial racing, that country racing, sets the platform for what we see here today. It allows those beautiful thoroughbreds to be bred up in the Hunter Valley, and I was up there a few weeks ago. You know, the best breeding in the world, and we're competing right across the world stage. So, you know, it's win for everybody in New South Wales. I congratulate the industry. They just go from height to height, and just when you think they can't get any better, it does.
Yeah, absolutely. And finally, you're up there for the presentation of the winner of the Kosciuszko. Could you feel the infectious nature of winning?
Oh, look, yeah, I'd love to be part of one of the winning connections. But, you know, these are average Joes who just love racing, they love horses, and for them to $2 million for the prize money today, that's just exceptional. And they're from not just New South Wales, but from Victoria as well, and it just shows everyone can be involved in this beautiful sport.
Minister, thank you.
My pleasure.
You are watching Racing Dreams, and there's been a party all week in the lilac city of Goulburn. They've been celebrating the win in the Kosciuszko after young trainer Matty Dale got front page home for back-to-back victories. Of course, he joined us last week on the show out at Randwick, and it wasn't just one country town cheering. The front page ownership spreads far and wide, and Timmy was in there amongst it all after they won.
She's trying to get into the race, but Front Page is giving a tremendous kick. Front Page got 5 lengths clear. Opal Ridge, it's a bridge too far by the looks of it. Then Far Too Easy, and Front Page, Tyler Schiller go back-to-back in the Kosciuszko.
We've just seen the hugging and dancing of the win of Front Page, 2 years in a row, different trainer. Kevin, what did you think?
Oh, magnificent. What a great horse. Sits back, has a rest for a few months, then comes out and does that to a quality field. No, we're absolutely ecstatic. Matty Dale's taken him over. Hasn't missed a beat from Jeff Teray and his team. So all credit to Teray's handing over and Matty Dale taking on the range. He's a magnificent looking horse today, and he's proved how good he is.
Oh, he got out in front and nothing was going to get near him. Our show's called Racing Dreams. You're from Wangaratta. You're from a rural area. Is there a group of you that own Front Page?
Yeah, well, almost 10 of us in our syndicate, and we're all local lads and growing up together, and my brother and so forth. And yeah, no, it's a real thrill. My brother actually owned the mare that bred out of him, so out of it, sorry, excuse me. But yeah, so it's a bit sentimental. He passed away the Monday before the Kosciuszko 3 years ago, when he was supposed to come up and run. And Tezza, one for you, mate.
And mate, it's amazing, isn't it, the Kosciuszko, because it just brings everyone in. Everyone can buy a $5 ticket. It brings all the country trainers in. We had Matty on the show. He's a great young trainer from Goulburn.
Yeah, he's going places, isn't he? Yeah, I think he's very strong. He's going to be one to watch for the next few years coming. So, terrific effort. I better get out and say good day to him.
I'll let you do that, but can you put into words what's it like to win?
Oh, this second in a row, mate. Well, my heart's beating 10-1. It's fantastic, and well done to the Sydney Racing. They put a terrific show on here today, and to put a showpiece like that on, magnificent.
Well done, Kevin.
Good on you. Appreciate it.
I reckon there's been some partying indeed. All right, now we want you, if you can, to cast your mind back to the early 90s. Some of you may remember these scenes from 1991.
Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest. What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal?
That was Cecil George Edwards, who went viral after his arrest in Brisbane back in '91. Now there's a new reason why Democracy Manifest is going viral. Owner of the Colt Galloper joins us now. Steve Allen, good morning to you, Steve.
Good morning, Julie. How are you?
Steve, how many times have you heard that video now?
I'll never get sick of listening to it. No, I've heard it quite a few times, and it's sort of become a cult following, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's remarkable. This Chris Waller-trained Democracy Manifest has become a fan favourite. He's come from these races in Dubbo. Now we're talking about him today in this race. First of all, let's wind the clock back. How did his name come about?
I was fortunate enough to be at the Ready to Race sales and bought him. Lionel Cohen picked him out and we bought him. My son said to me, "Dad, can I name this horse? You're shocking at names." So I said, "Go ahead." So he named him and said, "Dad, we've got the name Democracy Manifest." And I said, "What?" I didn't know what it was. I've never heard the clip before. And since then, well, you know, the clips come up about the arrest, and the rest is, you know, everybody's sort of got on the bandwagon now, and he's a pretty good horse too.
He's not a bad horse at all. A $70,000 purchase at the Ready to Run sale, as you said. Today he starts favourite in the $1 Million Five Diamonds Prelude. That's some ride for you guys.
It's a great ride. It was a great ride. I've got some great friends in the horse. Some first-time owners, some people had horses before. They're really enjoying the ride. But to win the Cameron the other day, a few weeks back, the way he won it and broke the track record showed us that he's a pretty good horse. Tyler Schiller got off him the other day and said, "Steve, he's a Group 1 horse. He's very unlucky in the Epsom." He's a horse that's got a funny racing style. He's got a race from behind. But Chris Waller's managed him so well, the Waller team. And look, he's come from a maiden win at Dubbo to now a $1 million race today.
When did you think during that process that you might have had something special with this guy?
He was at Dubbo. Cody won a maiden and then took him to Port Macquarie. I think it was a great run, Port Macquarie. He gave 16, 17 lengths at the top of the straight, and he got beat a length. He just run out of room. And then after that, Cody said to me, "Steve, you know, I'm giving up. I'm going to back to race riding. What do you want to do with the horse?" So I brought him home because I've got Bennett Lodge there at Luddenham, and Lionel said, "You know, you've got to give this horse to a decent trainer." So I rang Charlie Duckworth. I said, "Charlie, I've seen him run at Port Macquarie. It's a great run. Have a look and let me know." So Charlie looked at that run in Port Macquarie and said, "Steve, we'll take him." And he's just improved from there.
Look, Darren Flindell, I think, has certainly played his part in the popularity of this horse. I mean, I was just reading last night. He's talking to Hong Kong Racing, the South China Morning Post about him. He's wearing T-shirts. Of course, he gives a mention of a succulent Chinese meal in all his calls. You've been in this game for quite a while. Have you experienced anything like this in terms of fan following? No. Look, I've had horses all my life. You wait to get a good horse, and you know, and he's come along. Darren Flindell, saw him at Dubbo, watched him and thought to himself, "I'll call this horse in a highway one day." And he played that tape back a few times about the arrest and kept his eye on him. And that's how Darren's watched him progress to where he is now. And we've done a little feature on him the other day with Darren there, and it was really good because Darren was there, and he's followed the horse all along, and it's an experience for us now. Yeah, that's what makes him one of the great callers. He really picks those unique moments. Just quickly before we let you go, what do you make on this Five Diamonds Prelude field today? I think it's a very open field. I think that if we get the right run in the race, we're going to be hard to beat. John O'Shea's horse is going to be very hard to beat also. Look, it's just a matter of how the race is run. If the speed's on, we've got a very, very good chance in the race. He's improved. Chris is very, very happy with him. Tyler should have ridden him before, and he was unlucky in the Epsom. So I'm just hoping that he makes us proud, and I think he will. Steve, such a pleasure to talk to you. All the very best to you and the team today. You're taking us all on this great ride. We're thoroughly enjoying it. All the best. Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, the black and yellow checkered colours of Brendan and Joe Lindsay are well known on the track, seen on the likes of four-time Group 1 winning mare Probabile. Venturing into breeding was always a natural progression, with the couple purchasing Cambridge stud from founders Sir Patrick and Lady Justine Hogan. Now, since then, they have transformed the spectacular property while paying homage to champions past. Take a look.
It's so special for us to have the opportunity to be able to buy Cambridge stud and call it home. I like to think that, you know, our country is one of the better countries in the world, and I enjoy it, and I've enjoyed everything that our country's given us, and to have the opportunity to keep the ownership here in New Zealand is very special for us. When we bought the farm, Patrick was in the later part of his years, and a lot of the buildings needed a lot of tender love and care. We started to look at how we would do that, and it became quite apparent that the best thing to do was to actually start again, and we just rebuilt the start from the paddocks up, if you like.
Cambridge Stud is just a beautiful space, and in particular this farm, the heritage of it is something else. And the heritage that Sir Patrick had created back in the early 70s. So we really wanted to just continue that legacy, keeping his legacy, but then creating our own for the future. When we created the Heritage Centre, first, as I say, it was to profile the two stallions, Sir Tristram and Zabeel, and what they left in the Australasian racing arena. Inside is something else. It tells a big story. One side of the museum shows Sir Patrick's story and all that went on, and then as you move around the museum, it comes into the new era.
Our Four Stallions, of course, embellishes the one that's the lowest one on the rank in terms of dollars, but he's a son of Savabeel, which of course is son of Zabeel, son of Sir Tristram. So it's nice to have him on the farm. He's on his 5th season. He's got 3-year-olds on the track now. We've got Sword Estate, which he's having his first foals now. He's a son of Snitzel, of course, and he's been just prolific in Australia. We're also lucky enough to have our 2 French boys. Halle Zane, who won the Diamond Jubilee, and El Manzour, who was European champion racehorse of this year, and both those boys have good credentials and good support in the marketplace.
We've got a number of really good race mares that have now become brood mares. First of all, our founding brood mare was a racehorse called Jadane, and she was a Danehill, and she really started the breeding side off for us. With the Probabile though, it's something really special with her, I think, because we were so close with her. All we can hope for now is her progeny will do what she did. And if she can do it, they can do half of that, we'll be really thrilled. But we won't sell any of her progeny. We'll keep colts and fillies, we'll keep them, and we'll race them. The naming thing is, I really enjoy it, but it's not an easy task. With Probabile, we wanted to actually add that Savabeel part to her name. I just want to get to know her a little bit, and my granddaughter says that maybe we should keep the Beale part of it somehow. And we'll just see what happens as she gets to be in the next sort of 6 months or so.
We'd like to be remembered as contributing to Cambridge Stud. So when we hand it on to the next owner, because we won't be around forever, they can look back fondly and say, you know, those people did a good job. They took Patrick's legacy and they built on it, and we can hand it on not in a better state or anything like that, but in a different state. I think that's the legacy that our family and Joe and I can be very proud of, and that's what we're working towards.
Welcome back. You're watching Racing Dreams. It is that time of the show. We are joined by racing analyst Brad Gray. Good morning to you, Brad.
Good morning, Julie. Long time no see, hasn't it? It's amazing how fast time flies. But 7 days ago, we're sitting there at Randwick, and we have to, of course, let the viewers know that they have bid spotters out there on track, and we were sitting there having our coffee. Lo and behold,
you got in early
one
this
comes up
week.
and gives you a card. Yes, and they gave you a card. So unfortunately, you didn't enter. I guess in fairness to the others, because you would have been home and hosed.
You got in quick there this morning, Brad, and here I was not going to tell anyone at home how many times you were inundated by punters who wanted selfies with you. So I wasn't going to say that, but you've just forced my hand. Brad, it was a huge day out there.
Yeah.
We did talk about this actually at that point in time as well. Joe Pride, what a training performance by him. It's remarkable that he had 2 runners in this race. To finish 1st and 3rd in the Everest is something else.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? And Joe is such a nice guy. He's such a fantastic trainer, and he was so good with his time before the race and after the race. I think I've heard him about 500 times since, and he just keeps fronting up. And he's a trainer that probably doesn't get the accolades, or he hasn't in the past, as far as being one of the best we've got in the country. But now he is firmly getting his time to shine, and I think he's getting his due recognition for being a trainer of immense quality. And as you say, to get 2 horses into the race is an achievement in itself, but to run 1st and 3rd, that's something pretty special. And they're 2 horses that are going to be around for a little while just yet, so we're going to have to get used to Private Eye and Think About It being at the top of the sprinting tree.
Yeah, really exciting for Think About It too, because, you know, who knows how far he can go. Let's have a look at today's racing. 156 horses have been entered across 10 race card today. So we'll start with race 1. You're on Agenda Setter.
Yeah, so this is the Kirkham. This is for the 2-year-olds, and historically this has been a pretty handy race. It's thrown up some very talented 2-year-olds. So Agenda Setter, he's got everything going for him. He's got a big pedigree. He's out of a Group 1 winning mare, trained by Team Hawkes. I think he maps to get the right run, and I like the way he's trialled. So looking at the makeup of this field, there's only 1 horse here that has had a race start. So we're taking them on trust from barrier trials, but I do think Agenda Setter profiles really nicely to make a winning debut today.
All right, moving on now to race 7, and you've gone with Unspoken.
Yeah, so this is a horse going through the grades pretty nicely for Peter and Paul Snowden. So this is the Falante, and he's a horse that's won 2 from 2 this time back. He's got no weight on his back here, 52 kilos, because he is going up in grade, but all indications are that he can make that transition. I know you look at the replay from last start and you see he only won by a narrow margin, but the race wasn't really run to suit. They went pretty slow up front. It turned into a sprint home, and he really asserted his dominance that last little bit. So I imagine the stable are eyeing off the 5 Diamonds for the 5-year-olds in a couple of weeks' time, and I think he's got a nice profile for a horse like that. So there are a lot of races today where they look pretty open. However, I do think this looks one of the more races where it's pretty obvious with Unspoken. If you want to have a Quinella and he's a little bit too short, Unspoken, have a look at Political Debate. Not a lot went right for him in the Epsom, and I think at double-figure odds, so he profiles as the best roughie there.
All right, well, speaking of race 8, is the 5 Diamonds Prelude. Who are you liking there?
Yeah, I like Converge here. Now, I know it's been a long time since he last won, so 84 weeks since he won the Randwick Guineas. However, in his defence, he's pretty much raced exclusively in Group 1 since then. So he's had 13 starts, 10 have been in Group 1s, and one of those that wasn't was a Golden Eagle. So he has raced in the top echelon of company over the past couple of seasons, and today I think he gets his chance to get back into the winner's stall. So he's another horse that comes through the Epsom. Didn't have a lot of luck there. He does have a lot of weight, but he has earned it. And you go back 12 months ago, and Ellsberg also came through the Epsom. He also carried a stack of weight, and he proved too good. So Converge at the moment, I do note that the bookies are taking him on to some extent. And the last time I looked, he was at $11, so I think that's a really good gamble.
And race 9, the Big Dance Wildcard.
Yeah, the Big Dance Wildcard, Lions Roar for me. This is a wide open race, so anything goes here. But Lions Roar, he's another horse that hasn't won for a long time, 136 weeks. He's another horse that actually won the Randwick Guineas, funnily enough. So we're hoping it's a bit of a drought-breaking day for a couple of these contenders here with Converge and Lions Roar. Didn't have a lot of luck last time out. I loved his first up run. I know that John O'Shea, the trainer, is bullish about how well this horse is going. And he seems to save his best for the Randwick Mile. So 3rd up now. He has drawn a wide gate. We'll leave that in the capable hands of Jason Collett, who we know is a jockey that can ride patiently and ride for luck. So if he just gets the breaks at the right time, I think Lions Roar will be one hitting the line. And again, he's another horse at double-figure odds.
All right, let's take a look at your graphic for today. You have touched on these, but just talk us through your roughies and your best bets again.
Yeah, so we did touch on the roughies there. Converge and Lions Roar, they come a little bit later. Political Debate's another one you can throw into the mix there in the Volante. That's the same race as Unspoken. But best bets, we're going with 2 horses that like to get back, find their feet and hit the lines. They're never easy to watch. They'll need luck at the right time. But I think Smashing Eagle in race 6, he's found the right race here. He's had a 6-week break. He's trained by Joel Ryan and Sterling Alexio. He's a horse that's airborne at the moment, 1,100 metres dry track. He's going to take Holding Out. And then we'll wait till the lucky last. Race 10. Extremely Lucky, trained by Chris Waller. He's always had a big boom on him, this horse. He probably hasn't quite lived up to the hype, but now 4th up, out to 1,200 metres. He was run off his feet over 1,000 metres last time out. Of all the races that he has contested this time in, I think he finds the most winnable assignment to date, so we'll give him one last chance. So best bets there, Smashing Eagle race 6, and Extremely Lucky in race 10.
And we are extremely lucky to have your presence. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Brad. We look forward to seeing you again next week.
Thank you, Julie. Just being attacked by flies out here.
See you later. All right, before we go, just a reminder to tune in tonight at 9 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time for the premiere of The Race, a 1-hour documentary about the dramatic real-life story behind the running of the world's richest race on turf, the Everest. It'll give you some fascinating insight into what has become an incredible event, as we saw last week. As always, thank you to our great sponsors, Racing New South Wales, Arrowfield, Bet365. We would not be here without you. Timmy will be back next week. Until then, have a great weekend.